Our guest speaker today, boy howdy. Let me just say this. You know what this means. You know who that is. He hails to Dallas, Texas. One day got off from his computer and his computer wasn't going, and his boss called him, a youngster younger than him, said, "Man, what's going on with you?" He said, "Man, I went to the restroom. I went to the restroom. How dare you? I'm a grown man." And he said, "Mr. Thomas, I vowed then it's not getting in my bed, sleep on the floor." Matter of fact, he went out in his car in the garage and flat took all the air out of his tires. He said, I'm walking everywhere, catching Uber. I'm prospecting for here out. Now think about it. That's a commitment. A lot of people, we don't make commitments. Oh, well, I'll try it out. If it works, I'll give it a stab. No, he made a commitment. So without further ado, can we give a warm, warm, warm ACN family welcome to none other than the great Mr. Sam Foster.
All right, all right. Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for that warm and pleasant introduction, sir. Thanks again, Mr. Thomas, of course, for your platform and everybody that's on the call from Japan to Canada, from Hawaii. I got you. I got you. I got you. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. No pressure for all these people you introduced this past week. It's quite a chore to be coming last to bring up the rear. So I do not want to disappoint. So if you're taking notes, and I know you guys on the call, Japan, thank you. I know it's 1 a.m. in Japan. I feel honored that you even got on the call. So I thank you, sir, Mr. Payon. Thank you for you and your team. Look forward to seeing you guys in Orlando. That's right, in Orlando. I think I'm staying at the same hotel. So, Mr. Thomas, it's going to be a time. It's going to be a time. If you're taking notes, guys, I got a long way to go, like I said, in a short time to get there. Of course, I'm on location. I had to actually find a little cubby, if you will, to actually do this call. So I snuck away. I borrowed somebody's office. That's how radical I was to be on here live. So if you're taking notes, it's going to be titled A Place Called Better. That's right. That's right. A Place Called Better. I want this to sink into somebody's head. I know this is the last call for the month of September, and I want you to have something from me to remember. A place called better. Why do you say that, Sam? I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. And the reason why I want to call it a place called better is because I want to set this up, guys. I really want to set this up. And I know we got people on this call that's on the call a lot, and we got some people on the call that come on the call casual. I get that. And like Mr. Thomas says, I think it would do you justice to go back and replay a lot of these messages and send it out to your people, because somebody needs to hear something that somebody said throughout the week. I've been on a call throughout the week, so it's been wonderful. I'm not just saying it from secondhand account, from firsthand account. Everybody has been wonderful. I want to title a place called Better because I want to share something with you guys. And a lot of times I like to do what I call shed a little skin. I like to give a little background information on myself. Many of you guys know my story. Many of you guys know, and I hate to say this a lot of times because, it kind of makes it seem like, the same old story. And sometimes people go, oh, they feel a little sorry for you. And I get all of that. But kind of grew up in some rough circumstances and situations, guys. Some of you guys do know this, but I started looking a couple of days ago at some things I wanted to put down and share with you guys. So I kind of culminated into doing this message, and I said, well, I want to shed a little skin, because sometimes we need to shed a little skin. We need to get a little personal sometimes, so somebody can relate a little more to maybe our hunger or our drive to want to continue to strive in this ACN opportunity. And I started looking at myself, and I started saying, I'm looking at entrepreneurs that I know of in the past and in the present, and I look back at my family tree, and I had a couple of entrepreneurs in my family. They've since passed away, but some real entrepreneurs. Then I started looking at what made them successful and what made them not so successful. Then I thought about it. I said, well, I had two entrepreneurs in my family, my aunt and my uncle, who by all accounts was decent, but I saw some things in them that I didn't want for myself or my family. Number one, even though they owned their own cleaning establishment, it really owned them. So I was really kind of really, for lack of a better word, I was turned off. I didn't want what they had because I pretty much felt like, well, if that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur, I don't want that. You know, they did a whole lot of working. They had to really do a whole lot of brown nosing for a lot of people. And if you ever owned anything, a lot of times you have to give stuff away. A lot of times they found themselves doing stuff on credit. You know, people really never paid them back. They was always trying to uplift, and most of the time they got stepped on. And because they ran a brick and mortar business, this is for somebody now. They always got paid last. Oh, I'm gonna type this like a typewriter, like an old school typewriter, Mr. Thomas. How you type and then you hit it and slam it on back so you can repeat. I'm gonna say it again. They always got paid last. And I didn't think that was good at all. Even as a youngster, I looked at them and I was like, this picture just doesn't look right. They always get paid last. They stressed out. And guys, I don't think they ever took a vacation. The only time I remember them taking a vacation, guys, to be honest with you, and it's sad to say, is when it snowed. Think about it. When it snowed, which means couldn't nobody go anywhere, they couldn't do anything. And for the couple of days that it snowed, it drove them crazy. And guess what, guys? They wasn't making any money. Oh, here it go, here it go, here it go. Buckle your seatbelts, guys. We're going in. They were not making any money. Where you going with this, Sam? I'm going to a place called Better. Now, if you think about ACN works the direct opposite of what I just said. That's what fires me up about ACN, guys. That's what fires me up. It's the direct opposite of the traditional entrepreneur. Remember what I just said about my people? If they wasn't at work, they wasn't getting paid. If they wasn't basically giving stuff away, they wasn't liked. I didn't like that equation at all. For somebody, you guys have to get this picture I'm painting, guys. I'm trying to paint this like Picasso. So you can put this in your Rolodex and remind yourself that the days of the regular general entrepreneur may not be something that you need to be attracted to. Why? Because a lot of times that doesn't make sense. It's usually going to stress you out. It's going to usually stress you out and cost you a whole bunch of money. But in ACN, guys, recognize we don't stockpile anything. We rarely have to look at running behind a whole lot of people in terms of the services, because these are the services that people are already doing. So that makes it more attractive to the average person if you're thinking about momentum. But I know we don't always think about that because so I got to talk to this person, I got to talk to that person. It doesn't matter to me who I got to talk to, as long as I got the goods. Because I can give a card, I can sit down and get a name or a number, and I can talk to them at a later time. Sometimes, guys, we make this hard when it shouldn't be hard at all. Think about it, guys. I want to make this message simplistic to the average person. Sometimes we make ACN a little too hard. Because think about it, David Enlow. Think about it for a minute, Danny Payne up in Canada. Everybody's the same. We all feel the same reactions a lot of times. We all go through the same situations. And guess what, guys? We all have to pay bills. So we have ourselves on the top of a gold mine, literally a gold mine, if you sit and you think about it. The common denominator to it all, guys, is our level of consistency. That's it. It's our level of consistency, Rick Kubiak, in Hawaii. The same light you flick on, we flick on in Canada. They flick it on in Cleveland, Ohio. They flick it on over there with Jackie Black. They flick it on over there with Mr. Thomas. The same cable TV, the same internet. It's nothing new under the sun, guys. We just have to stay consistent. I get it. I get it. Somebody over there saying, oh, but they trip on me. They say no. I can care less about no. If another person tell me somebody saying no, I'm gonna throw up. Literally. Think about it. Who cares if they say no? First of all, they don't know what they don't know anyway on the word no. You're saying no on something that you're already doing. So if you actually had a little bit more backbone and posture, you can say to yourself, what difference does it make anyway? They're already doing my stuff. That's the problem. For the traditional business owner, that person may be hating on you anyway because they're jealous. They don't get to do ACN on a regular basis. They still got an ego problem. Watch this, guys. They really have a pride problem. Now I'm getting ready to go in. Permission to go in, Mr. Thomas, since this is the last day of September. I might as well just go all the way in and let this go. Because watch this, guys. If you're a traditional business owner, I just told you about my aunt and my uncle. They literally worked themselves to the bone. Watch this, guys. True story. They died working with little to nothing to show for it, and they actually died less than a year apart from each other. Uh-oh. Watch that part, guys. They died less than a year apart from each other, and they worked themselves to the bone. They never understood what residual income was, and they never put themselves in a position to be where we're at right now. They wanted better, but they never knew a place called better. And if you're writing and taking notes, the place called better, guys, watch this. It's called ACN. The place called better is ACN, guys. Well, why you say that, Sam? You got to be lying to us. Well, I always do fun facts. Well, the fun fact is we can't argue with 30 years. That's a fun fact. You can't argue with the fact that everybody's doing our services. That's a fun fact. Can we argue with the fact that our co-founders are still the same 4 co-founders and have not sold out the company? And every month, every day, every year, we get better? Do you guys realize that they actually give us a platform every month to make more upfront money than any traditional company could ever give you? So it's really not about the money to them, to be honest with you guys, because if it was really about the money, they'd have sold out a long time ago. Let's just be real. You know how many people come to them all the time and proposition them to give up ACN? Do you know how easy it could be for the average person to give up ACN? Because they can really think about it and say, well, we can sit back on this money. Do you know how much you have to be a real go-getter and care about people to be in for the last 30 years, and things have changed and technology has changed and you've changed with it as a company, and your 4 co-founders to be motivated even more than they were before? I told you guys last week, they're giving upfront money and the cycle hadn't even paid out yet. That's how much money in reserve they're willing to give you guys for your business to be on top. It's a fact. If you pay attention to the payout cycles of billing, it don't add up. They doing 30-day payout on something that takes a traditional 42 to 60-day payout. And what about the person that's the customer that may jump ship? They still paying you for those customers. Let me get out of that, Jackie Black. Let me get out of that because I just told the truth. They still paying you the money, and they have not asked for it back. And the comp plan is even better. And they said, if you do this, we still gonna pay you out. Even if your customer jump ship, we got enough integrity in this game to still pay you out. If they drop as a customer, you still got your upfront money. It's a company they paying out. And they've been doing it every year consistently for the last last 30 days, you found another company that doesn't like ACN, give me a call. Nobody's called me yet. And you found another one that has the integrity and has the longevity of the last 30 years. It's not even out there, guys. It's not even close. And to add injury to insult, I had a young man I was talking to that had a mentor this week, an Uber driver, had a mentor that used to be in ACN. No shade, I'm not going to call names. Used to be a major player in ACN. Matter of fact, he was an SVP. The guy texted me back and said, "You don't know this, sir, but so-and-so was my mentor and this, that, and the other. He runs a hair salon and he Ubers on the side, a side hustle." Now watch this. When he texted me and told me who the guy was, I said, I know him very well. But the problem with the guy was he left ACN, no disrespect to leave, and I get it, as it happens. He left ACN trying to go somewhere else. Now, I'm going to show you how this works. Now, I'm not shaming him. He left trying to go somewhere else because he thought somewhere else would be better. But my question is, if you go somewhere else and you think somewhere else is better, do you not realize that you've already achieved SVP status? Come on now. Hello. Why would you jump ship if you already got it already developed? Well, let's go a little lower. David and Lowe, Ursula Allen, let me go a little lower because I don't want them to think I'm just talking about the people at the top. Well, if you've already been at ACN and you've been at ACN a while and you understand the platform, the structure that we sit on, it'll only get better for you by virtue of default because you're already in, right? All you have to do is continue to be consistent. The problem with most of us, we're not consistent. It's not that the system doesn't work. It's that we don't work the system and we're not consistent. Because if you're consistent, let me show you how this comp plan used to work. This comp plan used to work when I first walked in, Jacket Black. When I first walked in, David Culver, you had to get 2 services in your house and 1 service out. And it wasn't even $200. Think about it. They eliminated all of that, guys, and they just said, if you get 5 services your first 30 days, we're going to give you $200. And then at that same first 30 days, if you just do 3 more, we're going to give you $200 every 3 after that. So you can go hog wild. Sensational, you can go hog wild. But guess what? We missed that part. And then we sit back and wait on somebody else to tell us, it ain't that big of a deal. Well, why it ain't that big of a deal if everybody doing all this Uber hustling? Now, Mr. Thomas, you were right. I ride all the time on purpose. I ride an Uber all the time because MD Rami used to be an Uber driver. He ride during that half of Australia over there. So I knew I had to start getting the Uber and put flat on my car because I wanted to do what the leaders do because I want to have what the leaders got. So I had to get uncomfortable enough to start going these Ubers. But this is the problem with the Uber driver. And I told this Uber driver this yesterday. If the Uber drivers are only getting 40% and Uber as a company is taking 60%, watch this part. No disrespect to Uber, but they monopolize the game in a lot of ways. How can you take 60% from me when I'm using my car, I'm using my gas, I'm using my insurance, I got to put my tires on the car, and all you providing is the platform. I'm using the Uber driver. Oh, it get worse than that, Mr. Thomas. I might as well tell it all. It get worse than that. I'm sitting there talking to the Uber driver. He's not the first one, guys. I talked to a lot of them, so I already know the game. Watch this. They driving the Ubers, guys. This one Uber driver, he pays $300 and something a week because he said he didn't want to put mileage on his personal car. Uber give you a fleet of cars to choose from, but they charge you up front. The boy paying $300 something up front a week. And you got to pay $300 something before you even get in the rental Uber car. Well, if he paying $300 a week up front, he said in a month's time, he's $1,400 in the hole every month. Wait a minute, guys. I can't make this stuff up. You guys know I fact check. I'm in the car talking to the guy, and he wasn't the only one that told me this. If you go back in a lot of my messages, I said this before. But watch this. When I added it up, I looked like somebody had put some boiled eggs in my face because I squished my face up in the back seat of the car. I said, "Say it again." He said, "I have to pay $1,400 a month." I said, "Man, that's a mortgage." I said, "You paying a mortgage payment to Uber just to use their car." Saying it doesn't add up. Watch this, guys. And we're in ACN, and we only have to pay $324. So we pay less than what he paid a week for the Uber car, when you can get ACN lock, stock, and barrel. Watch this. Write it off. You get what I'm saying? And you got a full-fledged business in ACN regardless. If you tell these people that, have a little more backbone and posture, and tell these Uber drivers, these people at the grocery store, if you tell them the real numbers, they'll be shocked. But you know, we scared. We scared to offend somebody. We scared they're going to say no. They may not answer their phone. I don't care if they don't answer their phone no more. I'm sick of it anyway. Watch this. The real recognize real. So if you tell it to a real person, even if you tell it to a person that's offended, they at least got the message. We don't even want to give them the message no more. We so jelly back a lot of times. We want to sit back on our heels and make it look all nice and sweet. No, I just want to give you the message. I just want to put it in your lap. It's whatever you do with it is whatever you do with it. You can eat it now and taste it later, but I got to give it to you. Why? Because somebody going to get the message if I at least give it to you. But we're so tricked in the mind, we don't want to give them the facts, and we got the facts all day. Guess what, guys? We can under-promise and over-deliver. 30 years. 30 years. We don't even want to say that. We're so nervous to say 30 years. Why wouldn't you say 30 years? And everybody else less than 10. And we 30 years. Rick, I'm sorry. Rick, we 30 years in Hawaii, Rick. We 30 years all across this place, Rick, but they don't want to say that. I'm sorry, they don't want to say that. When it's first time you hear somebody say something about ACN, that MLM stuff, well, everything's an MLM. But everybody not 30 years. So what's your point? We 30 years with a proven track record on something you already doing. You see, if you didn't have a cell phone, you get a cell phone, you paying too much. Can't tell you that though, because I might get my feelings hurt. Well, you hurt my feelings every day. Just saying. It's a trick. And we got an ego, guys. Three things remain, guys. Three things remain. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Get your pride out the way. Get your pride out the way and tell them the truth. Once you go ahead and tell them the truth, let the chips fall where they may. But we don't want to say nothing. We don't want to say nothing about ACN. When you think about other ways of making money, no, tell them this is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we get paid. You're already doing my stuff. What you want to do? And let it go. You'll be surprised if they don't hit you back. Do you realize that Uber driver last night that broke those numbers down to me already knew the numbers? I let him talk for 10 minutes, bringing me back home. I gave my business card and said residual income and walked out the door. I just said residual income. I'm gonna let him eat off that. Because if he don't recognize he need to be making residual income instead of letting Uber, no disrespect, pimp him, that's his fault. But if I had more 10 toes down on the situation when it came to ACN, I would get more traction out the situation because I feel like I got to prep something. I don't have to prep nothing in ACN. A 30-year square situation, you don't have to prep anything. You say what you say, stand on what you're talking about, and get on out the way. Some will, some won't, somehow, somewhere, so what? I'm loving. Love it, guys. That's it right there. What difference does it make if they say no? My why is bigger than their no. Let me repeat it. My why is bigger than their no. Think about it, guys. We got the goods. You got my stuff already. This is what people not understanding in the ACN, Mr. Culver. Danny Payne, they don't understand you already got my stuff, baby. I'm sorry. I need to stop watering this down. Hey, guess what, man? You already got my stuff. Ma'am, I mean no disrespect, but you already doing my stuff. I just want to know if you want to make money or save money off of it. You got me already. You got me at retail when I'm trying to get you at wholesale. Now, unless you're a Rockefeller, you want to keep paying that amount? Worst case scenario, I'm trying to get you down. Worst case scenario. And if you don't believe me, our prices is on the site. Here that come again. Here come the facts again. Here come the facts again. I just want you to go on the site and look at it. If you don't like it, so well. If you don't like it, okay. But if you go on that website and you see something you like, call me back. Let's have that conversation. If you don't call me, send it to somebody else. Somebody could really use a blessing. Tell them that way straight in the face. Say somebody can really use a blessing. Why? The price is on the site, guys. And by the way, just in case y'all hadn't figured it out, we do travel, we do healthcare, we do all that now. ACN changed that much all the time. Well, why you say it like that? Because we're in a place called better. Called better. We're better. They don't have the elasticity. They don't have the bandwidth we got. Is already doing our stuff. We became who we are by default. The consistency made us who we are. If you think I'm lying, ask Canada. If you think I'm lying, Hawaii sitting up here, ask Rick Kubiak. Does it work over there? He wouldn't be on the call if it didn't work over there. Canada wouldn't be on the call. Ask Japan. They're on the call. To me. Now, it didn't work over there. They're getting paid over there in Japan. Right now. It's a difficult situation. And we 10 toes, we'll have more than what we got right now. But we playing with it. We're playing with it, guys. We're scared to tell somebody who we are. We're playing a masquerade. We need to come out the shadows and step into the light and say we are ACN. And this is a place called better. Spend my time, Mr. Thomas. Thank you for your support.